Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Pelvic Pain Unpacked. I am so excited. I have an amazing guest today with me, and that is Dr. Karyn Eilber. And we're going to call this episode All Things Pelvic and How It Actually is Part of Your Body. You said it way better though, Dr. Karyn. How did you call our episode?
Well, I think it should be like the pelvic floor, and it is part of your body. I think that people literally mentally disconnect their pelvic floor from the rest of their body. I find that very smart people do not apply everything we know about physiology from the rest of our body when it comes to our pelvis. So like we were discussing just a few minutes ago, things like CBD. Oh, yeah, you know what? That's a great idea that you're suggesting to me to use it for my pelvic pain because it really helps my shoulder pain. Yeah. Connective tissue and muscles in both places.
So let's just give our audience a background on you, because I met Dr. Eilberg at Pelvicon, which is a pelvic floor physical therapist convention / party, right? And so you're a urologist who specializes in urogynecology. So tell us about your background. And we bonded because you had a company there as another vendor, but you have also had a background in CBD. So I was like, oh my gosh, I need this woman to talk to her. And we always just start chatting. But tell us your background and how you got here.
Absolutely. But just to be clear, we bonded just because we just enjoy talking to each other. And the topics were just a commonality. So I am a urologist, and I went into urology with the intention of really doing, at the time was called female urology. We didn't really have the term urogynecology a million years ago when I trained. And it's because I really liked gynecology, but I also really liked my sleep. So I didn't want to do OB. So when I found out that you could practice, again, what used to be called female urology, now referred to as urogynecology, I said, you know what? I'd rather do a urology background and do that as opposed to doing OBGYN and then doing it. But technically, whether you're a gynecologist or urologist, when we use the term urogynecologist, that implies we all do the same thing, which is very commonly pelvic organ prolapse or falling organs, incontinence, chronic pelvic pain, female sexual dysfunction. And also some of us also practice menopause hormone therapy.
And so, you've been working with women's pelvic health for a long time. What is the most misunderstood aspect? Because I liked what you said earlier, that people they kind of disassociate with their pelvis. And so what is that misunderstood aspect of that chronic pelvic pain for women in your perspective?
Whether it's pelvic pain or something else, I think the biggest misconception is it's something that we did to ourselves. Oh, it was that one partner that I let, he or she go too long and it was too painful. I held my pee too long. I didn't take this medicine. The thing that makes women, okay, quite frankly, the superior gender, but we can argue that, I guess, is, we kind of take everybody's burdens on our own and we minimize our own and we put ourselves last. But having said that, rather than being like, no, you know what this problem is, because people totally dismissed my complaints. When I told them I had pain every month at the same time, nobody even entertained the idea of me having endometriosis. And I also think that as a society, myself included, I've been guilty even with my own daughter, we equate being a woman with pain, right? You have cramps almost every month. That is normal. That is accepted. So when my daughter, she'll kill me if she ever listens to this, she has very painful periods. So we have this routine where I'm like, well, you have to deal with it. Otherwise, what are you going to do? So she starts to relieve the day before her period so she can deal with it. But because we equate being a woman with sacrifice and pain, we have issues, we just blame ourselves. So I would say the biggest misconception is it's something we did to ourselves.
Let's give a shout out to your product, Femintree, right? And tell us a little bit more about that and why it would be awesome with our products that we use, our suppositories or loops.
I was going to say, I think the reason why we had such we're in sync about this was a lot of pain with many conditions is because of inflammation. And one of the theories of interstitial cystitis is your bladder lining really should be this impermeable membrane. Because remember, urine is a waste product, and your kidneys, and i.e. your urine, are one of the ways that you maintain acid-base balance. So sometimes urine can be very acidic, depending on which you eat and drink, which is why some people with interstitial cystitis will notice, oh my gosh, if I have like lemonade, forget it. I'm in agony for like 3 days. So one of the theories is the bladder lining is not totally impermeable. So some of these things can kind of leach to the bladder wall, if you will, and irritate the surface below. So imagine having like a raw tooth surface, like your enamel is missing, how just irritating it can be. So anything that can kind of help to rebuild what's called the GAG layer or this glycosaminoglycan layer, which is kind of the top surface of the bladder, and reduce inflammation should help. In response to having chronic pain, right? Like if I come at you with like a knife or a needle, you're going to retract, right? Or if your stomach hurts, you curl up in a ball because it is the natural reflex of the body to kind of contract. Well, when people have chronic bladder pain, they contract their pelvic floor, which then becomes chronically contracted and painful, which is also why things like CBD suppositories can actually help to relax the muscles. It becomes this real catch-22 also. The tighter your muscles are, you're compressing the nerves, which then refer to other parts of the body. So then people start getting like perirectal pain or clitoral pain or different things. So it becomes this downward spiral. And the more aggressive we can be with anti-inflammatories, things that relax the muscles, and people also, myself included, would prefer to do something that is non-prescription and that they have access to and can try.
But what should people be looking for in products? Because there is a lot of products. You can take orals like tinctures, gummies. There's suppositories, which is our specialty, and we have all of those forms. But what should when you're looking for a CBD company, what are things that you want to see as a legit CBD company?
I think you can apply the same principles to, again, beauty products. So you can buy something that says, oh, it's a retinol product. And if you actually look at the ingredient list, then most people know that the highest concentration is good. Things are listed in order, right, of how high the concentration is. So if you buy a CBD product and that's the last ingredient, must make you think that maybe it doesn't really have a lot of CBD in there. And it's so easy these days to do research, right? Like if you just do a couple like reviews of products, you can see if people either love it and hate it, probably makes you think twice. If people are kind of in the middle of the road, that's a good consistent product. Maybe it doesn't hit out of the ballpark, but it's a nice consistent product. But you do want to see that people were happy with it. And again, there's, like you mentioned earlier, there's no one product of anything that's going to help everybody. But if the majority seems like it's helping you, and you look at the ingredient list, and I don't even know off the top of my head anymore, but how much the percentage, the milligrams of CBD, but those are what's going to make you think it's a reputable product.